Leaves for Loren. Let's see how to make some fibre leaves. Hey, I'm Duthie, and it's a Thursday, so it must be a needle felting tutorial. Every Thursday I make videos just like these, so if this is something you're interested in, don't forget to come back every Thursday. And today we've got something a little different, hopefully a special little project that everyone can get involved in. If you haven't already seen CC the Crafty Caravan's post, and I'll have a link in the description and the comments below of her Facebook page, but she's just put out a request on Facebook. And I think it's a lovely thing, and it's a great little practice for any beginners in needle felting, and a nice easy project for the more experienced, and a lovely thing. So I'll just read out what she's asking for. I've decided to ask people for help in making leaves for Loren. Loren is my 7-year-old little girl who has a very rare life-limited genetic syndrome. She's currently having adaptations to help her have a bedroom with therapy space, storage and somewhere safe. She's having a 3D tree going up on her wall and over the ceiling, which will help her be aware of the 4 seasons and celebrate different calendar events such as Easter, Christmas, birthdays, etc. We're looking for anyone who needle felts, crochets, quilts leaves for her tree. They have to be no smaller than 3 inches and in any colours of any of the seasons, so oranges, reds, yellows, greens, browns and even whites for winter. Every leaf would be a big help and create a fantastic, unique and wonderful tree for Loren. You can let your imagination run wild. Add a bug, a bee, a flower, anything or everything goes. Please help if you can. Thanks for your support. I'm not looking for us to spend much money on this project at all. Just use scraps of fibre that you've got about. Just make 1 leaf, 2 leaves, whatever you feel like. But I thought this would be a great thing for everyone to get involved in. And if you're looking to make a leaf or 2, just go onto their Facebook page and PM them for their address once you're done. So the first leaves I made are based on an actual feathers tutorial of a wonderful needle felting friend of mine. I'll link to that video. I'm not going to show you exactly how I made it because you've got to go over and see her work. The only differences I did with this was, instead of just 1 layer of the heat and bond, I did 2 layers of heat and bond, 3 layers of fibre, and then a little extra heat and bond along the back of the wire and a little extra fibre there. And another thing that I learnt when making this, another little trick that I didn't figure out till the end, it made my life so much easier. When I ironed the leaves between pieces of greaseproof paper, this meant I could put a lot more pressure on, and it helped the fibres bond into the actual heat and bond so much better. And just make sure with the wire, as this is going to be for a little girl, I just folded over the ends of the wire on both ends just so there's no jabby bits, and you can also cover it in some fibre to make it nice and soft. So I got myself some leaves from Google. I just searched and then resized these and printed them out. And then for the first type, I just had made a large sheet of autumn coloured leaves. It's got to be autumn for me, or fall in other countries, but we call it autumn in the UK and I love that. It's got to be autumn coloured for me because those are my favourite colours. So I laid down the lightest yellows in the centre and then layering gently out all the way through oranges to a kind of orangey red, and made a sheet of that. And then traced round my leaf that I'd cut from that I'd printed out, traced round that. And I found the easiest way was to make really short strokes or even dots, because obviously some of the fibres are still a little bit loose. They don't all get stuck into the glue. So dots all the way around, and I just cut it out, and that's all you need. And I think they make really quite sweet little leaves. They're firm because it's got the glue in there, but with the wire you can adjust their shape ever so slightly. You can bend them a little bit to be a little more leafy. You can make them any colour really that you want and any type of leaf. It's really fairly simple. And the other method that I used was just using a sheet of pre-felt. I just had white pre-felt here, and I roughly traced around the leaf just in the same way, little dabs with the pen rather than trying to draw all in one go because the fibres kind of move with you. And then I laid out the fibres over, but not really following the line all that much, but again starting with the lightest colour in the centre, building out to the darkest on the outside. And then I just started to felt this in. If I could have found my multi-tool, that would have been even better, but just using a single needle, felting it in, focusing a bit sometimes on the edges, using the stencil I had, using the stencil I'd made to felt round the edges and guiding the fibres sometimes. And I found, to start with, actually I have to admit, to start how it was laid out and how I felted it, it looked lovely and whimsical. I think it would make a great picture just like that, just tidy it up a bit. But felting, and then eventually cutting it out, using my piece of paper again as a stencil, cutting it out, and then I just lined the edges with some of the darkest colour so you couldn't see the white anymore. Gently between my fingers, felting that in all directions. As this was just pre-felt, it's possible to obviously felt down a little bit more, make the leaf smaller and direct the shape a little bit. So keeping an eye on what the final shape I wanted it to be still. And then I added a wire to the back by placing it on the back of the leaf and then wrapping some of the hanging bits of fleece round it and felting that, and I made sure and covered the whole of the wire eventually. I don't think that shows in the video, but covered the whole of the wire, and then placing a little bit of fleece. And you've got to be careful here, don't felt all the way through else you'll be bringing white from the back through to the front, but felt perpendicularly along the line of the back to make this felt cover the back and secure the wire in. And then with a good bit of felting, adding more colour where you want it and moving it about until you're happy with it, and you have a different type of leaf. So I hope this has inspired you of some ideas to make leaves. There's many more that you can make. My friend Annette over at Pam's Felting Friends has made some great leaves that she's given me permission to share. So just check out what she's making here. I'm going to finish up my felting leaves, and I've got a couple of pumpkins that I can add to the mix that I made in my pumpkin tutorial. If you haven't seen it, check it out there. I'll get their address and send my leaves off to them, but I really hope you have a go at making some leaves, because I think this is an awesome project. The idea that people from all over the world are going to have contributed just a leaf or two, because it's not going to cost that much to ship a leaf. So if you can, give it a try. I'd love to see your results, and let's get Loren's wall filled with leaves from all over the world. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you if you decide to join in with this project. Click on my wee face to subscribe to me, and check out the video of how I made my pumpkins as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and come back next Thursday.